pit stop. It's a pit stop. Pit stop. It's a pit stop. Pit stop. It's a pit stop. Pit stop.
And welcome back to your Purple Pants Podcast Pit Stop coverage of Amazing Race Season 36, Episode 3. I am joined by the amazing, the talented, the smart, the witty, the always positive winner of Amazing Race Season 29, Miss Brooke Camhigh. Brooke, welcome back to the
Can we just let the beginning be the entirety of this podcast? I always just feel so good about myself when you're like introducing me. And I am joined by the handsome, funny, talented, effervescent, host with the most, Brice Isaiah.
How
you doing?
I am good. How are you?
Doesn't that feel good?
It does. I love it.
I feel like people don't take the time to introduce you, and you deserve that.
Well, thank you. I received my flowers. I received my I forgot the name of the pork thing. I received my
your chicharron.
My chicharron from you, and I love chicharrones. When I go to Rhode Island, I always go to this Colombian spot that has the chicharrones, and I always like buy the chicharrones, and then I will make breakfast, and I'll just use that as like my meat for the breakfast because chicharrones are amazing. Well, we're back covering episode 3. Really excited. How was your viewing experience this week, Brooke?
Well, funny you should ask. No, it was great. I actually convinced my husband to come with me, and we went to a bar and we watched the episode with a couple of the teams. We were with Ricky and Cesar. We were with Kishore. Oh, there you go. We were with Kishore. We were with Rohan, and straight up from Atlanta, we were with Michelle and Sean, who told me, first of all, they were carrying double Dutch ropes with them, which is hilarious. And they tried to get me to go out in front of the bar and double Dutch on the spot, but I was in heels. And while I'm coordinated, I'm clumsy. So they said they're bringing the ropes to the finale, and they guaranteed me, I don't know how true this is, but they did guarantee me that I could learn to double Dutch in under a minute.
Oh, so you never double Dutched when you were growing up?
No, I mean, I jump rope. But no, it looks very hard. I don't know how you could teach someone to do this in less than a minute, but they swear they can. So I'm going to take them up on it. I will bring sneakers to the finale, and we will take a video of me probably falling on my face, but we'll see.
Just make sure you guys are on level ground and you're not high in the sky, or no heights are involved, because I want
Sean doesn't
be at his best.
Oh, I felt for him. And watching him watch himself do that was actually kind of funny. He was like, ooh, we all have our things.
We do. But I mean, listen, they made it through. That's all that matters. So
I know.
Yeah, because it was a close race this episode. It really was. And it, like, for me, this episode really kind of showed me that you always say it, but like, don't give up. And for me, the biggest thing this episode was
make a decision.
To your decision, right? And if you make the decision to switch, stick to that decision.
Well, they did stick with that decision. They made the decision to switch, and they stuck with the decision to switch, because they switched, and then they switched, and then they switched. And then they switched.
It's like, I love Anthony and Bailey. I think that they're like just so fun, and just like, they're just here. But I wish that they would give themselves.
They were here. I don't know if they were all here, but
well,
they were here. And I actually really liked watching with the teams that I watched this, because they were giving me such like backstory. Anthony and Bailey seem really cool. They seem really fun. They seem so like genuinely nice. Everybody loves them. But man, oh man.
Right. I just wish somebody would just be in the ear and say, do this, do that. Like, it's almost like, not like they're dependent on each other, but like they want the other twin to make the decision, but the other twin is waiting for the other twin to make the decision. So it's like you're in this like purgatory. But yeah, I do love and enjoy watching them.
I did find out that they only lost by about 10 minutes. So had they actually just switched.
That's what I'm saying. Right.
Probably would have stayed in the race. So. But things work out as they're supposed to work out.
But, I mean, I'm sad to see them go. However.
Well, when the other option was Michelle and Sean. I mean, Anthony and Bailey, I can't wait to meet you. I hear you're very cool. I hope that you don't hold anything against me. I think you're great.
We love them.
But I got to see some more Michelle and Sean in this season, so I'm happy with what happened.
To be honest, I wasn't even really that worried about Michelle and Sean. I had my other hearts, making sure that another team stayed in. But
it's reason 437,011 that I love Danny and Angie.
Okay, but mind you, it has changed. It has changed this week.
To a different team
this week. It is reason 5,632 why I love Angie.
Oh, dear God.
Okay. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Danny, but baby, Angie this week, I was feeling her this week. Okay.
See, I was more on his side this week. I love them both. I think they're great. And I think she's doing everything she can to make her kid's dream come true. And I think that is just the best.
Right.
However, nothing bad. I felt for him because it is very, very hard to be sitting on the sidelines and not able to do anything. Now, I, as you know, never shut up. And I had a partner who I didn't know before the race. And so I like to be reassured by being like, you're doing great. Here's what's going on. I want every detail. I want all the information. Here's how many teams have come. Here's who has left. Here's so on and so forth. I want all of that. So it would be my inclination to do exactly what Danny did, which is like, hey, Mom, 4 teams just left and whatever. Now, my partner didn't ever want anything. He was
right.
Angie. He was like, just don't tell me anything. Just shut your face and let me get it done. I'm a Danny, so I get it. And
I love it and I get it. But also it's like for me with Danny, it's like you're motivating her how you would want to be motivated.
Yes.
Not
well, that's all we know.
Right.
You know.
So, but not how Angie want to be motivated. And, Angie is slow, but methodical. And it's like, I might take my time, but I'm going to get it right the first time. So I ain't mad at Angie. And I think that
she didn't get it right the first time. She went up there like 6 times. She's like, just a little bit. I'm like, how about take a little more? She told him to take a nap, which was actually hilarious. But okay, we're jumping very far ahead. Okay. But that's fine.
She said, take a nap. Don't worry about these. And then first of all, cranberries or maybe
they were not cranberries.
Because I watched a TikTok and I was getting the cranberries confused because they look kind of similar, but I didn't realize
they were like
harvest.
Some sort of like coffee cherry.
Right, coffee cherry. But you harvest cranberries in like the water. They pick them up from the water.
A bog. Mm-hmm.
And but they also, I don't know why, I was up the other night and I was just watching, I just went down the cranberry harvest hole, and a question on a lot of job applications when you harvest cranberries are you scared of spiders? Because they employ
out.
Yes.
Out. Goodbye. No, girl. That is the job I will never. If that's a question on the application,
well,
for anyone who doesn't know me, I have one fear on this planet. Well, 2, falling, like being on the bottom level of a bridge and the bridge collapsing and being smushed.
Oh, bad timing.
I know. That's not top. That's
and
topical.
Also, like ripped
spiders
to the workers of that bridge, like this. Oh my God!
I
know.
I know. Horrendous.
But
we brought it somewhere horrible. Sorry. Okay.
But back to the spider.
No, can we not? Okay, fine.
But no, wait. So I forget the name of the spider, but
I don't want to know it. Do you understand? Okay, fine. Say it for anyone who does want to know.
Because it keeps the pesticides away from the thing. But why they say, are you scared of spiders? Because when they are shoveling up the cranberries, a lot of the times the spiders will crawl on you.
I'm going to have fucking nightmares. Okay, sorry. I heard.
Okay, sorry. They said you should look at the spiders like your coworkers.
Oh, come on. Can I tell you something? So when I was in college, apparently there was an issue with the Fresh Direct of the time, right? When people would order fresh grapes, there was like enough that Fresh Direct made an announcement, or the Fresh Direct made an announcement that they use spiders for instead of pesticides because the skin of grapes is thin and they don't want to poison people. And so people were ordering bags of grapes and visitors would be in the bags. I did not eat a grape for over 10 years because I felt that there had been a spider. I'm like, my skin is crawling talking about this. I'm going to have a nightmare tonight. I'm going to call you at 3 a.m. when I wake up because I've had a nightmare about being in a cranberry bog with spiders. Thank you for this.
Okay. It's just the coffee reminded me of cranberries, but Did you ever watch Fear Factor?
Yes. And I watched the movie Arachnophobia 8 times in a row to try and do I don't know, immersion therapy. I also was hypnotized to try and get over my fear of spiders, which I didn't believe in hypnosis, but hypnosis is actually a real thing. And I can actually now kill a spider, but I have to like psych myself up, and to watch me do it is actually probably pretty funny. But it is the only thing I like. Millipedes and centipedes and cockroaches and my had a pet mouse, lizard, nothing else. Snakes, cool. There's something. Okay. I feel badly for anyone who's now sat through the first 6 minutes or something of this.
Quite all right. Listen, that's the pit stop, okay?
Oh, okay. Can we talk about anything else?
Let's talk about climbing steps.
I will talk. You know what? Yay to something being hard. So first of all, as you know, in my office, I have pictures of all our pit stops. This, I don't know if you can see it. You can't really see it. Is a picture of pit stop of leg like 11. This is like 600 steps carved into the side of a mountain in rural Vietnam. And you went all the way up there for our pit stop. So I was having flashbacks and I loved it. I loved how this started. It was difficult. And I like that look at that. How'd they build those stairs into that mountain?
Right. That's crazy.
Cool. I don't like they left in groups, but whatever. I
thought the same thing. I was like, okay, now we're back to 3 groups again.
I don't really understand why. I mean, I guess people were far enough ahead. Maybe that's what it was. The first 2 teams checked in so early on the super easy leg that happened on the last one that they had to smush people together. I don't know. Well, it's COVID protocol, but I'm not really sure what that did for like COVID protocol, but whatever. So, okay. So my head is thinking of, okay. So in group 1, we had Rod and Letitia, we had Ricky and Cesar, we had Derek and Shalisa, and they left at 7:15 in the morning. Shout out to Ricky, who I noticed, and then I looked over and said, are you doing what I think you're doing? Who had a little clicker with him and was clicking every stair so as to count the stairs, just in case when they got to the top, there was a question of how many stairs did you just climb, so that they would have to do it more than once. Because there has been in the past, they were in Spain, I think, like Spanish steps. And at the top of the stairs, before you could get the clue, the question was, how many stairs did you just climb? And so many people had to go back down and reclimb it because people don't pay attention. He then told me that it was actually painted on the stairs as you went up, like how many stairs. Oh, wow. But he was clicking. So they're very smart. They did several very smart things this episode. They know the game. They are students of the game.
They do. Cesar and Ricky, I am like, I love y'all, but I am just now, I love them so much that I'm nervous because I think last episode I told you I was like, it's Rod and Letitia. Like I wouldn't be fighting for first. But now Cesar and Ricky, in my opinion, have like they have soared above every team. And now I think every team knows that. And that makes me nervous for a U-turn. You know, no Rohan.
I don't know that there are any.
No U-turns?
I don't know that there are any. Like at the COVID seasons, there weren't. I don't know why there should be. I mean, if anyone should be a U-turn, I love them.
Makes me nervous because
but every other team should be looking to get them out because
or it's like they're the team to beat now. So it's like that just makes me so nervous. But I love it because they are killing it.
I mean, but if there are no U-turns, it seems that we'll talk about it. Okay, so anyway, they have to climb 650 feet up in the air to get their next clue. I'm having flashbacks to this horrible mountain, which, by the way, on this mountain, there were goats that were like sideways. They were just like attached to the mountain. It was kind of crazy. Also, it was leg 11. We were tired at that point. So, but this was a very, very cool task. So everyone's getting up the stairs, blah, blah, blah. This is finally hard. Great. Ricky and Cesar are the first to the top. Wonderful. Okay. So.
And what's even crazy, because when I'm watching the episode, they don't really show you what team is in place, right? Like, I'm just happy that Rod and Letitia are keeping up. But it, like, in my mind, it looks like, or not Rod and Letitia, Derek and Shalisa. Like, I'm glad that they're keeping up. But like, you know, Rod is motivating Letitia. So I'm thinking like they're in the lead. But baby,
Ricky and Cesar got to the top first.
RC, they was up there. And in my opinion, they had time. Like Rod and Shalisa wasn't up there with them. Like they like really cleared the time.
They had a moment. And special shout outs to Cesar because he carried 2 backpacks up those stairs. So
okay. Shout out to Cesar. Okay.
Okay, so you get up there and you get a detour, which can they make detours that are like even this season? Because this is ridiculous. Cook a meal, right? This festival of meats with rice and beans and chicharron and eggs and carne asada and plantains, which I don't like plantains, but whatever. Arepas and avocados and chorizo, and then get judged by 3 grandmas, which was just super, super cute. I honestly think you should have had to eat it, but that's whatever.
Well, I would have taken a bite out of it regardless. After the abuela, after the abuela said it was good, I would have been like, I would have taken a chicharron with me.
Or in a super uneven detour, load this jeepney thing, this mechanical mule, until the owner says it's packed right, with 400,000 things where you can't see in the middle. And after climbing 650 steps, let's go and lift things and load this thing, which is like 12 feet in the air and ridiculous. So if you didn't do the cooking, I seriously question your decision making.
Like I was thinking, like if I was on this season with Amazing Race with Wendell, I think that we would have done the packing. You know, with Wendell's company, Beef Unlimited, we like travel around the country and like bring beds and different things. And like I just thought Wendell would have been really good at like he can look at things and be like that. Like so. I didn't think that one was that hard. I think that it was just kind of manual labor. Now,
the thing is this though, like there were so many pieces to pack on there that depending on how difficult the judges were, if you had one thing even a little bit off and you weren't paying like the most attention in the world, you'd have to unpack the whole thing and figure out what it was. Like that could have taken days.
You would have to unpack the whole thing, or you couldn't just fix it?
Well, you could fix it, but if they don't tell you what the thing is, if they're just saying no, people could really get in their own heads. I don't know. Nobody ended up doing it.
Now, here's my thing about the cooking, right? I saw them with like the rice, the plantains, and the beans. Me personally, I would have not heated up the beans. I saw so many teams heating up the beans. How they gonna know the beans is not hot?
Well, you do have a producer watching you do it, and if you skip a step, they're probably gonna give you the
you can put it in the thing and pretend, and then like, you know, in the heat of the thing, because I was just like, they don't even know if the beans are hot.
I guess it's true.
That's 5 minutes right there.
Try it when you go on the race. You should try that. But just have me in your head going, there's a producer watching.
Well, I mean, I know I'm a distracted producer. I also think this week with Derek and Shalissa, you know, at first I was like, I gotta be hard on Derek, but I was feeling Shalissa. I
love her.
I've come to get their balance, right? Where it's like Shalissa's like, he don't help me in the kitchen, I'm gonna handle everything. And then it's like she just makes 1 cup of rice and he's like, what you doing? And then like so I feel like Shalissa can dish it and take it out.
Yeah.
So we love Rod and Shalissa.
Derek and Shalissa.
Derek. Well, we love Rod.
Well, but also, yeah, okay, fine.
We love Rod.
Fair statement. Okay. So anyway, all 3 of the friend teams decide to cook. And then you have group 2, which is Amber and Vinny, who have now just like, I'm glad they got some airtime because I was like I thought they were like flan. Like nobody loves flan. Nobody hates flan. It's the flan. They're there. They're cool, whatever. But I actually really like them. And then you have Juan and Shane, Angie and Danny, and Yvonne and Melissa, who honestly they need more airtime because they're barely there.
They do. Sometimes when I see them, I'm like, is this Sunny and Busy? This ain't Sunny and Busy. Who was this? Right. But also, I don't know if it's anything like in Survivor where it's like sometimes the team that you don't really see a lot of in the beginning could really tell you that they go far and they're kind of in the middle of the pack. So it's like, you know, you don't really need to see them excel just yet. So we'll have to keep our eye out for them.
You met London at the wedding. Like she and her partner on my season, they got like an invisible edit. Like people were like, where are they? What's going on? And they came in 3rd place. I would have been happy with an invisible edit, but that's another story for another day. So anyway, Melissa, by the way, on the stairs was a beast. She like flew up those stairs like it was absolutely no problem. So Amber and Vinny and Juan and Shane decide to cook. Angie and Danny also decide to cook. And then, they all decide to cook. Good note. Okay, so everyone's cooking.
Right. I also loved when Danny and Angie were going up the steps. Danny's like, we're going at mom's pace. And like, meanwhile, Angie stopping, taking a break. Like, you're not even going at mom's pace at this point, Danny. You're just saying you're going at mom's pace. But Angie got up in that kitchen. Also, Juan and Shane really impressed me with this cooking.
Very much. Well, Juan did.
Well, Juan did. Okay. Shane cut the avocado on a half piece, and Shane's like, you make this before? He's like, yeah, I make it at home all the time. Also, Shane or Juan is from Colombia, so it was good for Juan to see his roots. They are another team that I am like, okay, I got my eye out for y'all because y'all are in the top of the pack. Y'all haven't won a leg yet, but you guys are clearly, in my opinion, you know, Juan is driving the boat. And, you know, Shane is, you know,
waving to the passersby.
He's waving to the passengers, making sure the fish is okay. But I feel like they potentially could be a well-oiled machine. They could.
I will say, I think we've said this before. There have been many, many, many seasons where an all-male, very physical team comes in fourth and sort of just falls shy of the final leg. And what's funny is they came in fourth in the first leg, fourth in the second leg, fourth in the third leg. Can't shake fourth. And I'm wondering if they're just going to be fourth.
Well, that's some of the criticism Amazing Race gets, is that they say that it tends to lean more to physical, like the two physical men teams, which is why I'm rooting so hard for a Sunny or Busy, or which is why I'm rooting so hard for a Danny and Angie.
There are 6,472 reasons why you're rooting hard for a Danny and Angie. I know, you love them. You can't hide it. Okay, so what you have to do is to pick your side of the detour. Everyone has to get on these speed boats, which I'm told were not at all speedy. And once you pick a boat, you cannot change. They made it very clear.
I don't like that.
Why?
See that? So I get the reason, but for a Danny and an Angie, that mechanical issue.
It's because you like that team. If a team that you were less into's boat broke down, you'd be fine with the rule.
No, I wouldn't. I would actually be like, they should have been able to get another boat. Like, first of all, Amazing Race, y'all need to test these boats before the people get on them.
I actually think, okay, so it was you can't switch boats. If your boat becomes like unsafe or something or unusable, I think they'll give you a replacement boat. You have to wait for it. So I don't mind this. And this is thing too that Ricky and Cesar did that is really, really smart. As they're running down the dock, they go, who's the fastest? Who's the fastest? Always, I would say, find the judge, find the instructor that looks the most excited to help because they're going to teach you the best, or find the boat driver that, like you said, like last season, find the tuk-tuk driver that just seems like a little bit off.
A little disheveled, right. But when you're Angie and Danny and you're in the back of the pack, you know, the fast ones is taken already. So I just felt like
people asked. Yeah.
Right. Well, again, I ain't even going to put it on Danny and Angie. I feel like Amazing Race, y'all should have had them boats drive around the lake a couple of times, but that's fine.
Okay. Okay, so all of Group 1 is in the boats. Group 3 is now starting. You have Sunny and Busy, whose poor Sunny's grandmother passed away the night before, which I feel like this episode was sort of made for them then, because you had the grandma judges and what was the
cranberry.
Oh, and her grandmother was like grew up on a farm, and so she was farming for it wasn't cranberry.
I mean, yeah, cherries.
But there were probably some spiders in those bushes. I would not have been not into any of it. So you have Sunny and Busy, Anthony and Bailey, who say today we're going to slow down and think a bit more.
I mean, they did do that.
Well, they slowed down.
And they thought of it more. They didn't execute. They thought of it more. But
then you have Kashuri and Karishma, who
KK.
Love them. And Michelle and Sean, who are ready for a comeback. And Sean makes a comment that he's afraid of heights because they're climbing the thing. And so we know something's going to happen later on, as it does. Sunny and Busy and Anthony and Bailey decide to go to the load. The other two decide to go to the cooking challenge. Or Michelle and Sean go to the load, decide to switch. Nobody stays there. That's the bottom line. Sunny and Busy are going to the load, find the cooking, and then say, okay, we're here, let's do it. Agree. Right. Anthony and Bailey go to the Jeep challenge, as do Michelle and Sean. But then they get there and realize it's ridiculous and decide to switch.
But that's where I was a little mad at Michelle and Sean, because when they decided to switch, from a viewer's perspective, it looked like they had a lot of the car already packed. So I was like, why are y'all leaving? I would have thought, like, let's just stay. They had a lot of the car packed. So I was like, why are y'all leaving? But I'm not mad. When you're in that heat of the moment, if you think a switch, you got to switch.
So, and they do. So, they keep cutting back between the two groups. So group one, you have Rod and Letitia. She's a cook, he's a baker. They're going to do great in the kitchen. Then we find out from Jarek and Celeste that this is, I think, some of the filler that we get because they're now 90-minute episodes. But I liked this. She's a cancer survivor. So on top of being the elder couple and the grandparents, she survived cancer. I just really like them. Yeah. I think that people who don't pay attention might just think that they bicker, but there's just such a love there. Like underneath, they're talking about when they're old and on their porch and reminiscing about their life. This is going to be an experience that stays with them. And I just think they're just such lovely people. So
and they look good. Okay. Let's not they look great.
And bonus. Right. Exactly. And so then Juan and Shane are also in the boats. They talk about Juan was born in Colombia. Vinny and Amber are also in the boats. And Amber vows not to be last. They say they're going to climb in the ranks. And boy, do they ever. Like Vinny was the hero this episode. There was nothing he did not do right. So
well,
what? Tell me.
Yeah, Vinny did everything right. I mean, communication style maybe need a little improvement, but for in the race, yeah, he did everything right.
Okay. That's fair. Okay, fine.
But my made me kind of like him a little bit, boy. You know, talk to me like that, Vinny. Okay, but anyway, I can understand where Amber's coming from, but also, you know, if you want to bark some orders at me, Vinny, you can.
He's taken.
He can still bark some orders at me.
That's fair. Okay, so Ricky and Sacer get to the detour. We now find out that Sacer is a chef because what can't they do?
Okay.
You know how I say it. If you stay long enough, there's a task for everybody. This one was his. Like he got in there and he's like, okay, here's what I need, and he
killed it.
Danny and Angie, their boat has broken down. Several teams hop off their boats while they're sitting there and doing nothing. Juan is also on point. He cooks this every week, like you said. Shane's like, let me help. I can cut an avocado. Cuts it wrong because he doesn't know what he's doing, but that's okay because it was cute and funny. And Amber and Vinny get there, and I will say they didn't know what any ingredient looked like, but he very promptly just asked for help, and then he slid on in there and took care of everything he needed to do. So he was a little bit short with her with, I need you to help me and whatever, but I don't think he was particularly mean, so I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah. I mean, he's in the heat of the moment, but you know, we've seen this before.
We've seen worse by a lot.
But I mean, this could just be the beginning. So it's like, you know, good on Amber for at least speaking up and saying like right then and there when it's bothering you. But sometimes in the moment that could kind of make the person even more like, so it's like, but at least like, hopefully we can see improvement.
Well, I saw the coming attractions and it looks like we cannot. Okay. So then, okay, so now group 3 is finding their water taxis. Danny and Angie are watching people from this group now pass them. Sunny and Busy pass them. Kishore and Karishma pass them. Karishma is like, bye, love you. Go, 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 go. Like, she's really funny.
She is. And I love how she just always is, Karishma is always motivating Kishore. Like, she's like, do this. Like, it's always do or die with Karishma. She's like, we're just what we train for. Let's go. I really feel like Karishma should be like a motivational coach or like a football coach. Because
maybe that one.
She would be great in the huddle and rooting people on, or like a basketball team.
Sure. I don't know that we should put her with people who are like emotionally fragile and need like a life coach. Maybe athletes who she could motivate.
I think some people might need that. I feel like some people might need that. I feel like Kishore could maybe, you know, give a little pep talk to Amber. Like, listen, he loves you. Let it go. Like, you never know.
That's funny. Okay. So I write down Sunny and Busy passed Danny and Kishore and Karishma passed them, and they said, and now Bryce's prayers are answered, and Danny and Angie's boat decides to start, and so they are off. And now back to the detour. Ricky and Sacer are done. Vinny and Amber are bickering. Juan and Shane are fine, except for a burned arepa and an avocado that is just the wrong direction. Derek and Shalisa, she is in charge, and he is letting it happen, which I like. He knows when to step back. I wrote Yvonne and Melissa, and then I didn't write anything next to it because they got absolutely no airtime. So Ricky and Cesar finished the task and they go to the grandmas and they're a little flirty with the grandmas and they got it on the first try. And then they're told to go to El Cordero de Guatape and find a tuk-tuk to find the next two. Third thing they do that is very, very smart this episode is they get there because once you choose a tuk-tuk, you cannot switch. And they go right up to one and they ask if they know where, if the guy knows where it is. They suss him out a little bit and they decide this is the one for us because I feel like they have studied past racers and what to do and what not to do, and they're doing it all right.
Right. Like chef's kiss.
Mm-hmm.
Cesar's kiss. Because,
exactly.
Right, they are
Meanwhile, Anthony and Bailey are relaxing on their boat. And Sean and Michelle are just happy to be in Colombia, even if they're losing, because they know they're going to rock the task. Again, and I said this to her face. I like rubbed her arm. I was like, I need some of your positivity in life to just rub off on me. Like, they're just, whenever we were in the back, was like, everything's ending. It's horrible. The world is over. And she's like, we got this. I need a little bit of the we got this in life because I don't got the we got this. Let's see. Sunny and Busy head to the packing, decide it's a bad idea. Danny and Angie, this is a reason I actually liked Angie, decided when they got off their boats that they were going to wait for Kishori and Karishma and go to the cooking together. And Angie's like
7,436. Mm-hmm. Why? I like Angie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No, we need to go. They can beat us in a foot race. We're not waiting for them.
But I love again, I feel like Danny has his antennas up. And he realizes that, like, my mom's not the fastest person. There may come a time where we might be in last place and the team is running and they can point us in the right direction. So I get it. But I also get Angie, like, Danny, this is still a race. I might not be the fastest, but, like, let's get in the race. So, yeah, I felt like both were right. And I felt like Danny could have been like, we'll wait for you, but y'all keep going. And then they can catch up to you. But I also was not mad at Angie for putting her foot down. Like, Angie's like, I might be a little older, but I'm still competitive. And I still have my head in the game. So reasons.
And I need every advantage that I can get. So let's keep moving. Right. So, okay. So Kishori and Karishma are vegan and vegetarian, respectively, and have never cooked meat, have never seen meat. I'm not really sure. But Kishori would like you and everyone else to know that she cooked the meat to perfection, like chef's kiss perfection.
How was those plantains though?
Well, I didn't say she did anything good with those. I'm just saying she was very proud that she cooked the meat perfectly. And shout out to Derek and Shalisa, who were very helpful to them, because if you don't know what any of these ingredients are, some of them can look similar. And without Derek and Shalisa, I think they would have been in a little bit of trouble.
But I loved it though. Like, I love the fact that they're like, let's ex mom and dad. And I love that Derek and Shalisa were so open to it and happy. Now, I was thinking, good thing Ricky and Cesar weren't there, because
I said that to Kishori in the bar. I'm like, it's a good thing you didn't ask them because you weren't going to get an answer.
Because Cesar would have been like, I'm busy right now. I can help you later. Because So I like this.
Did you hear something? I didn't hear something.
But I like Danny and Angie. I like Shalisa and Derek, Shalisa and Derek. And I like Kishori, KK, because, like, I feel like, is there a world where maybe these teams will help each other in the future? So I'm liking to see the alliances that are building.
I agree. And I think it's becoming quite clear who is going to be willing to help and who is not going to be willing to help. And I don't think it's a problem. I'm not saying you have to help everybody. Believe me, I don't think you have to help everybody. But there's a time and a place.
Right.
I think this was a good one.
It makes me feel like the winner of this season, will it be someone that put their team first, or will it be a team that helps? So I'm curious to, like, I have that in the back of my mind as the season continues. And when we see who wins the season, who the winner was. Was it somebody that was like, nope, we're doing this ourselves? Or was it someone that, like, helped and got helped?
I think right now, if I'm not mistaken, I mean, not everyone's been asked for help, but everyone other than Ricky and Cesar, who has been asked for help, has given help. So, but again, look, we're not here to make friends, but they did make friends. They're all very friendly. But they, they want to be first. And honestly, the prize they won for being first, I was so jealous. So jealous.
I also was like, Rod and Letitia, take notes at when you win.
So I did ask this. Apparently, a lot was edited out at the leg 2 pit stop. They were happy about the prize. There was a whole lot that was there, and it just made it look like they weren't excited about it. Because I was like, were they just like not into it? Because I feel like you guys would have been like, oh, it's amazing, which is what they were at the end of leg 3. Okay, so I just wanted to let you know that.
Reason 1,362 why you need to be listening to the Purple Pants Podcast pit stop coverage, because our reporter in the field, Miss Brooke Camhigh, is doing the work of the journalists that we need, getting us these answers. We appreciate you.
You are welcome. Put a Paloma in my hand and I will go anywhere. Okay. So let's see. Blah, 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 blah. They go to the Jeeps. They quit the Jeeps. Back to the cooking. Okay. So Rod and Letitia get the thumbs down because their presentation isn't good. By the way, it starts pouring rain. These poor people. This food is not edible anymore. And Derek and Shalisa get the yes on their first try, and they are now in second place. So, and this is my favorite. Derek has my line of the episode where he says, Shalisa, C's get degrees. You don't need to get an A. It just needs to be passable. And I could not agree with him more. You're not striving for perfection. You're striving for the thumbs up. So he gets it. He understood the assignment and he totally gets it. So, all right, let's see. They're back to the Jeeps, and Anthony and Bailey's brains are, and I quote, fizzing out. And so they decided to go to the other one. They talked for way too long about switching. And so they head to the cooking. They get to the cooking and decide it looks somehow worse than the Jeeps. I'm not sure how they feel that way. But also, you only get 2 choices, so you have to pick one. And they're like, but we're going to go back to the Jeeps. This is dizzying just even to watch. Here's my question for you. You've been to the Jeeps. You've been to the cooking. You now know what they both look like. If you decide to go back to the Jeeps, in what dimension do you go, oh, wait, let's go back again to the one that we just left after the one we left before that, because maybe something has changed.
And the thing that confuses me even more is when they get back to the Jeeps, they're like motivated. They're like, making progress. And then it's like, should we go back to cooking? Like, again, it's just like, one of them just need to be like, we're staying here.
And had they done that the first time, like,
they would have been in.
Anyway, Rod and Letitia get on their second time. They're now in third. Juan and Shane get the okay, and they're in fourth. Sunny and Busy get the okay from the grandmas. I'm tearing up because she's talking about her grandma, and they're in fifth. Meanwhile, Ricky and Cesar are now at the roadblock, which says who is feeling picky. And I think it's Cesar. Yeah, goes to do the roadblock where they have to pick these spider-filled bog cranberry things off of bushes. And he's lucky because he gets there first. So as you know, they're all over the place, but the person who gets there first has to travel 0 and can take the closest berries, and that's it.
But I feel like later in the episode, I don't know if it was like Vinny, it might have been Vinny, where they're like, I'm not sure why people are going. I think it might have been Angie. Not too much on Angie, though, Vinny. But he was like, I'm confused as to why people are going so far up, because there were plenty out in the bottom. So, yeah, that was an interesting take. But, I mean, Vinny seemed to think that there were a lot of...
He's the only one who did it right. He literally squatted down. Was the only... People were like, I'll take this one. I'll take that one.
First of all, I'm shaking that tree. I'm like...
So I have to give Matt a little bit of credit because he does not watch this show. He doesn't watch any reality TV. But he's sitting there going, why don't they just rip them all off the thing and then take out the green ones? And I was like, there might have been a thing that said you're only allowed to take the red ones so you're not like messing up a crop. So I do my investigative journalism and I turn my head and I say, hey guys, were you allowed to take the green ones? They could have done whatever they wanted, really. So Vinny does it right. He starts grabbing everything with 2 hands. He sits like a little child, squatting down and just starts pulling everything off. This is how they jumped so high. Everyone else is bucket in one hand, one at a time picking, but he was a madman in the best possible way. So, okay. Cesar is doing the roadblock. He's happy they're first. And back in the detour, Karishma and Kishori do not get the okay because of the plantains. Vinny and Amber get it. They're in 6th. Yvonne and Melissa get it. They're in 7th. I write back to Anthony and Bailey. I go, oh my God, no. They're not swapping back again, are they? No. You're joking. Wait, really? Guys, you already saw both sides.
Are they the first team ever to switch?
They have to be. I've seen people switch to go back, but to switch to go back and then go back again, I think so.
And to think that how this episode ended, they weren't even that far behind.
10 minutes. 10 minutes. So anyway, Karishma and Kishore go back again. They get the okay on the next time. I don't know what I wrote down. Now we can just drive. Oh, yes. Okay, I know what I wrote down. So this is something that they do that we always did, or at least I always did, because I feel like if you make your driver feel like they're part of your team, then they're going to want to do better for you. I always ask the name of the taxi driver. I always was like, what? It's true. If you befriend the person who's driving, what?
I'm just saying, yeah, that could work if his car work.
Well, okay, it's not, get over it. Danny and Andrew are fine. So they did the same thing where they're like, yes, go, and like making the driver feel like they're part of the team. Because most of the time people are like, we're in a race for $1 million. And the driver's like, I don't care. I'm not getting any of this money. Like,
this a Monday for me.
Right.
Sit back, relax.
I'll go. You get there when you get there. But if you're friendly and you bring them in and you make them feel like part of the group, then they get into it. So Kishore and Krishna are very, very good about being charismatic and like bringing every person that they work with, make them feel like part of the team.
I'm just going to add a checklist, or I'm going to add an addendum to this checklist to make the driver feel a part of your team, and also ask if the motor vehicle or boat is functioning properly. I think should be a good one.
Well, whose fault is that?
Not Angie's.
Oh, okay. Got it.
That was Danny. Danny picked the boat. It's Danny. Danny picked the boat. Okay, sorry.
I thought you liked both of them.
So did I. Also, I do. Also, it's like, I don't know why this episode, I was just having flashbacks of Corey and Rob. I was like, just imagining Rob doing this. One, Rob would have been tired, but he would have got up them steps, okay? Rob, I just imagine Rob killing the cooking challenge.
I imagine Rob in the back of that boat, and the boat breaks down. He would have lost his.
No, Rob, no.
He would have told Corey to get out, push the boat, swim behind it.
Rob would have
been able to do it. Yeah.
Rob would have. They would have.
Well, he's a swimmer. Remember, right. He was like,
Rob would have swum. Shout out to Corey.
That's pretty funny. Yeah. Hey guys. Okay. So, wait. Yes. Great. Okay, we did that. Okay, so
also makes me think Todd and Ashley. I don't know how Todd would have done in this cooking challenge though.
He would have had fun with it though, and she probably would have been like, just let me think, let me focus. He would have been goofing off, but like in a fun way. Right. So Ricky is on the side doing his, on the fly interview and crying and how sweet this is and how we love each other and blah, blah, blah. They're very, very cute. Vinny and Amber have to get, I don't know how this happens then. Their tuk-tuk just decides to stop and they get out and push it. So, good on them for not sitting around and doing nothing.
Should have asked the question. Just saying.
But it was working when they got in it. It wasn't like, yes, I'll take you where you're going. Let's push.
That's why you have to ask if your
just broke down.
That's why you have to ask if your motor vehicle is functioning properly, or your boat. Just saying.
Yes. But I feel like
not if it's running.
I feel like Vinny and Amber weren't told. Like
that's
but
why
if it's running well,
functioning properly. That's that's
functioning
all I'm
properly. Saying. So what you're saying is, click this down. Before you go on the Amazing Race, you need to learn in every conceivable language. Is your vehicle functioning properly?
See.
Got it. Okay. Because I did in every language, well, in like 11 languages, learn, do you know where this is? And so when I was in my behind the scenes, stupid. But when I was in like finals week for casting, like I knew I wasn't fast and I knew I wasn't strong, but I knew I was smart. And I was like, so here's what I know. I know you never want to take a connection through Frankfurt. You never want to do this. You never want to do that. I go, you want to know how to say, do you know where this is in like as many languages as possible? And I go, how many do you know? And I was like, I've learned 11 so far. And they're like, tell us. And so I rattled it off in like Swahili was one of them, which is funny because we ended up in Africa and I had to use Swahili, but it was so, they're like, okay, she's nuts. We'll take her.
See, I
convinced
feel
that's why I
like
got kids.
you might not need to learn the languages. I feel like if you're animated enough, like it's like vroom, vroom. Like I feel like
That'll work.
that
Hand
gets the
gestures are
job done.
helpful. That's funny. I will also say, I think I told you this. I bought a tank top that had like a bunch of different little things
Didn't they
on
say
it,
you
like
couldn't
a
wear
train.
it?
But they're like, you can't wear that. They're like, clever. No. I was
But
like, all
what
right,
if
I tried.
what if you get a tattoo?
They'll probably make you cover now. How big a super fan and how dedicated must you be to get a tattoo of a bunch of little things on the off chance that you will get cast for the amazing? I mean, that is dedication.
We
that even I didn't have.
Caesar or Ricky's full bodies yet, so we don't know.
He'll just get somewhere and Caesar will just lift up his shirt and be like, "This?" Like,
I wouldn't be surprised. I would not.
Actually, I wouldn't be surprised either. Or Danny. Oh God, could you imagine if Danny's just like entire t-shirt area is tattooed with like? Did you ever see that show? So dumb. Probably not. Prison Break. Like it's a show from probably like 15 years ago.
It
was like not great.
A docu-series or it's like
no, it was a
show?
Fox like drama where this kid 20-something gets thrown into prison because his brother, long lost brother, is in prison. He gets thrown in just to get him out. Like he's like an engineer and he has figured out how to break out of this particular prison and his whole body is covered in tattoos. But what they don't realize is it's like blueprints of the entire prison. So he has like this. I don't know why we're talking about this.
What, now, was he Caucasian?
Yeah.
Okay.
His name was Wentworth Miller, I think is the actor's. Look him up. You will be pleased.
Wentworth Miller. Okay.
I think that was his name.
Wait,
and the brother was Dominic Purcell. Like they were handsome men. Good show, actually. Like stupid. Like get thrown in prison for this, but you see him?
He's all right.
Okay.
He's all right. He's 51.
Really now? Okay, the show must be older than I think it is. Maybe he was in his 30s at the time. Should we take a break while you?
Oh, sorry. I was just just trying to do my journalistic due diligence for the podcast.
Love it. Okay. Back to the task at hand. Okay, so Ricky and Caesar have such a lead. They finish before anyone else gets there. They go to the pit stop. They're team number 1, and they win one of the coolest trips to South Africa, where they get to play with penguins and cage dive with sharks. Cage dive with sharks is on Brooke's short list of things to do before she dies. Deal with it, Mom. I know you're watching. So
Mama Cam High.
This will happen at some point. Maybe I'll do it like when I'm 80, so that if they get me, meh. Who cares?
Not if they get me. Girl, what?
What? I did see a video on Shark Week once where there was someone cage diving with sharks and a shark actually jumped like into the top of the cage and the guy was so lucky not to be eaten.
Brooke, reason 672 why I don't understand you. You just had a whole panic attack about me talking about cranberry.
I told you it's the only thing I'm scared of. Sharks are cool. I'm a scuba diver.
Now, your behind is talking about you want to cage dive with sharks. And if they get you, they get you. Brooke Cam High. I'm gonna need you to.
I don't want them to get me.
Well, girl, your exact words were, "If they get me, they get me."
I said I'll do it in my 80s so that if they get me, all right, I've lived a good life. I'm not saying I'm gonna swim into the mouth of a great white and hope for the best. I don't know.
Girl, if they get me, they get me. Okay, bro.
Note the time right now because this is where I think we've gone off the rails and this might be it.
48-14. Okay. Mama Cam, I'm with you, girl. We ain't doing no shark nothing. Now, no. If they
Sharks
get me,
are cool. They're not gonna. I mean, they're
Okay.
mostly a peaceful species. Unlike a spider, who the thing is this: a shark you can see coming. Like they are big.
A spider leave you alone.
Oh no!
A spider will eat the mosquitoes.
No, they're not. And
get rid of the moths.
Whoa! I like moths. They don't bother me.
In 4th grade.
Is there anything you're scared of that's like?
I mean, no, not really. I'm really actually adventurous. I mean, I'll get nervous, but it's like I get excited. But in 4th grade, we had caught caterpillars, and you put them in the little tarantulas and butterflies. I mean, not tarantulas. Terrariums.
Oh
yeah, so and everybody in my class they got a butterfly. I got a moth.
I don't know why I think that's so funny and sad. I'm sorry.
I cried.
No.
Oh, I cried. I was over it.
Oh. But yours was special. I like
mean,
that.
yeah, it was. It really was. I was confused. I was really, really confused. Yeah.
Did
But
that really happen?
oh yes, girl. Yes. And shout out to my mom because when I told her it happened when I got home, when she got home from work, and she was like, well, we'll collect our own, but we'll collect our own caterpillar. Girl, we collected a caterpillar from outside. And it was a moth. And then 4 weeks later, it turned into a moth.
I love Barb, though. I love that Barb was like, we'll do the assignment again.
But I've grown to love moths. So, you know.
Did you ever get the butterfly?
So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, not in that span of my lifetime. I think the real conclusion was I was the actual butterfly.
I mean, no denying.
So that's where we're at with it.
Oh my God, I love that so much. I'm sorry. That must have been really hard for you.
It was. I painted my little water bottle at the bottom, made it so pretty, all this stuff. All the kids.
But you know what? I bet that moth felt really special.
I guess, because I just let it out. I didn't care. But I mean, obviously everyone let all their stuff out. But
and then it got eaten by a bird. Okay.
You got right out of school. I was like, here. But anyway, okay.
I bet that moth felt really special. Okay. Anyway, let's see. Shalisa does the roadblock. She's doing great. Letitia does. Oh, this is like the women's roadblock. Her back is hurting, but she's doing great. Shane's doing it, and Rod is heckling him, which is actually really funny. Sunny does it to honor her grandmother. And again, I'm tearing up. She's covered in ants. Nobody else seemed to have that problem, but she's like, they're all up in my business. Vinny is the MVP, like we said earlier. He's the only one who really understood the assignment. Melissa did fine. I, again, have nothing written next to it. They don't show them. I don't know why. Even
when they got to the mat, right? I feel like Phil didn't even say their number. Like everyone else just said they right. I was just like, what? Like, but again, they could be the winners.
I mean, I wouldn't be mad. Then Kashori did it, and Karishma's so funny. She's like, your ass looks great. Like,
okay, that's we all need a Kashori. I mean, a Karishma in our lives. Like, I want to go out with Karishma. I mean, and I want to go out with Kashori, but I went out with Kashori already, and I love her. But like, yeah.
Come to the finale. Oh, so back at the detour, which is where the last two teams are, there is, by the way, an adorable stray dog, which you know I would be taking home because I keep my eyes peeled for the animals that I can adopt along with thing. But here's the funny part. They show the dog, the two teams are cooking, they cut back to the other thing, they come back, the dog is now passed out and snoring. And they have a close-up of this poor dog snoring because they've been there for so long. Sean and Michelle get the okay in their 10. Anthony and Bailey are close to finishing, and I can't help but think that if they didn't swap 47 times, they would have been in 9th or 10th instead of 11th. Then we go back and we see Bryce's favorite contestant telling her son to take a nap. I didn't love it, man.
I don't need an update. I don't got an Apple Watch on. We on the Amazing Race. You don't need to tell me, okay? And I love how Danny's like, okay. Like, you know. I like spicy.
Hurry up. I wish you could just go a little further. Good job, Mom. Like, I get it, but I don't know. Meanwhile, Vinny and Amber check in 2nd place. Rod and Letitia are...
Wait, Vinny and Amber are in 2nd?
2nd place. I underestimated them. Oh, he smoked the whole team. They came in 2nd. Derek and Shalisa get the okay. They come in 3rd. Sorry. And then Juan and Shane have the curse of the 4th. Again, Rod and Letitia are now 5th and are humbled a little bit, but I'm okay with that. That's still really, everyone honestly starts getting to the mat really, really fast. Yvonne and Melissa, Sunny and Busy, Kishori and Karishma. But I will say the one thing that I loved more than anything is that, what did I do? Is that Shane, so everyone's looking for Phil, right? And he's somewhere like on the grounds. Juan and Shane see him, but Shane is like up a level, and he just like with no regard for his health or safety, just basically like dives down this hill onto the pavement. And I know for life and limb, he does exactly what he needs to do. And I'm really impressed by him. I was like, that's right. And so then they end up being 4th place because he did that. If they didn't, I think he would have been a little bit slower. They have a foot race to the mat. As you know, both team members need to be on the mat before it counts. So even though Rod got there, and then Juan and Shane, and then Letitia, it is Juan and Shane in 4, and Rod and Letitia in 5. Then you have Yvonne and Melissa, Sunny and Busy, Kishori and Karishma, all on the mat together. Danny and Angie show up, which I know makes you very, very happy. And then we have the last 2 teams battling it out. And this is where, go ahead.
I'm not going to be too hard on Sean, but I do have a question.
Yes.
Why did we not see any of the other teams kind of experience the mountain view that Michelle and Sean got? Was that
because I think nobody else had a problem with it, and it was literally like 8 stairs that you had to go down. He was the only one who had a freak out, so I think everyone else just went down the 8 stairs. I mean, Michelle was very, very good. She's like, "I'll carry your book bag." I mean, I love her.
Michelle was great. Sean was on that ground in the feeding position, like, no, you go. But what I do love about them and what I do love about Michelle is that, like, you know, our kids are watching. We got it, like, you know, and I love the fact that she was able to, like, motivate him. And I love to see people conquer their fears. It makes me warm inside. So I love it. But I also was just like, why are we seeing these cliff views with them? And it seemed like when Danny and Angie did it, it was a walk in the park from a girl, Angie.
Well, I think what it is that nobody else had a problem. And I don't know what got him to do it, but he went from, not happening, it's been fun. Like, this is where it ends for us. But also, like, dude, if this is where it ends for you, you still have to get down. Like, you have to go down either and still be in the race, or you have to go down and quit. I'm glad he didn't quit. I'm glad that they kept going. She was a beast, and she did everything she needed to do. We faced our fears. The kids are watching. Anthony and Bailey show up, and this part makes me laugh. They see Danny and Angie leaving, and they give each hand. Danny's like, "You still got it. There's a team there." And they give each other hugs. But if you listen closely, when Danny is hugging, I want to say Anthony, he goes, "If I don't see y'all again, it's been fun."
Okay. Reason 432. Wow. We like Danny. Okay.
I mean, that's great. And so I think it's Anthony who does it. And then he goes down into a bush and starts staring at a bird. And he's like all sorts of, I think they could stand to get some, I don't know, something that would help them focus. They need, bring it in. Anyway, the bottom line is Michelle and Sean check in 10th. They are still in it, but they are last and apparently leaving alone. Although, as you know, I think everybody should leave alone because I don't like this whole group thing. They get into the mat, the rain is pouring, and they're happy to still be there. Anthony and Bailey lose by about 10 minutes, and they're just very sweet. Life is about adventures and the people you meet. I'm actually sad that they won't be there to watch in the future because as much as, like I said, I think they needed to study the race a little bit more because, it is a race, but they were a good team, and I like to watch the bond and see how well they did together.
They definitely were a breath of fresh air, and it was like just great to see and watch them. I also feel like Sean redeemed himself in the episode when they were trying to find Phil and it was raining and they got down the hill. Sean slid a little bit, but then to ensure that Michelle did not slide, he like braced her fall. So I was like, okay, Sean, you redeemed yourself.
They're such a cute couple. Honestly, they're just like, they're goals for a couple.
Their energy is super high, and I do love them. And it's like, it's weird because it's like this season, there isn't a team that I don't necessarily like, which is why I feel like in the episodes, I'm waiting for somebody to do something so I can yell at somebody. But we really do love all of the teams here, and we're sad to see the twins go, but the race continues, and we will be back next week covering episode 4 of Amazing Race Season 36. This has been your Purple Pants podcast, Pit Stop, because it's a pit stop. Pit stop. All right, thanks.
You can't use all of that. Bye.
Pit stop. Pit stop. It's a pit stop. Pit stop. It's a pit stop. Pit stop. It's a pit stop. Pit stop.